Welcome to the Elite Podcast, where we discuss business, family, and life. Now, welcome to your hosts, Mr. H. Rod himself, Henry Rodriguez, and Ryan Arditty, the SCV MVP.
What's up, podcast world? It's your favorite insurance, Henry Rodriguez. And as always, I'm here with my two favorite hosts.
It's your boy, the SCV MVP.
And none other than...
Christian Lazore.
Hey, dude, it's good to see your face on camera, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah. This is new, but it makes it a little more exciting to come to the studio.
A little more gray, too.
Oh, yeah.
A little more mature.
Well, can't help
He's
that.
looking good. Whose part's better?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've always told people that you have a face for radio, but now you...
my part's not on a billboard, so I guess yours is better.
He's got a face for cold calling, dude. He's got a face for cold calling.
Can we talk about the Dodgers right now?
Oh, I thought we were talking about babies.
Oh, that too. Just as important.
Yeah.
But let's go to the Dodgers first. So last night we were at the Dodger game with the MVP.
Yeah.
Were we?
I don't. We were right home late,
right?
We
Best
lost,
seats
and
ever.
I still had a great time.
Shout out to our boy Andy Ramos, who did come with us, right?
Yeah. And hung out and spoke.
Engaged with us, had meaningful conversations, you know. Yeah. But Ryan, you were kind of like stuck on stupid for a while. What happened?
No, man, I had a great time. Well, can we talk about the whole day, first of all?
Okay.
We had a whole event. We had a golf event for charity, you know, because you guys always like to give back. So we were playing a golf game, and it was fun.
Representing, we were attending the SRAR charity golf tournament, correct?
Yeah, and benefits were going to their foundation, SRAR Foundation.
That is correct,
yes.
And it was 90 degrees, so we were having a good time.
It was hot.
Ooh.
And someone had an idea that we are going to go to the Dodger game after.
Yeah.
I facilitated, I put together the worst foursome in history, by the way.
Did we finish?
I don't know. Actually, it was so hot.
No, the last three holes we just
gave up. Yeah.
We left.
Everyone ate but us for some reason.
When I'm the ringer of the foursome, it's not going to be a good day.
I won the cruise.
You did?
I won the cruise.
That's right. That's right.
I think I was in my food coma.
Longest drive?
Longest drive? Yeah, I don't know about that. But shortly after the golf game, we had the idea of attending the Dodger game amongst our best friends. But all four went, but it only felt like three actually went, right?
Yeah.
So Ryan, what happened, dude?
Well, let's talk a little bit. I had a great time.
How were the seats?
Okay, they're amazing. So here's the thing with the seats. Greatest seats ever, but all the food is included.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Mark Holmquist with those Dodgers tickets and seats, man.
Definitely shout out. Best seats ever. Had a great time, but I couldn't talk for almost 7 innings. I ate so much food.
There was literally people behind us engage in conversation with us, spoke directly to you, and you were in outer space, not talking, not responding.
I remember this. There was a couple home runs, and I just remember, like, in slow motion, you guys would all stand up, and I'm like, okay, I think it's time to stand up right now.
I think I'm at a Dodger game.
Shout out to the kosher dogs that you ordered in the second inning.
You like that?
Oh, I couldn't move after that, man. I could not move. I had a great time, and I'm back. I'm out of the food coma.
Right,
yeah, I feel better. I
was kind of worried about doing the podcast the next day.
The whole way.
Right.
Oh, never mind.
All right. And yes, brother, we are having babies, dude.
Yeah,
I'm at T-minus 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because everyone is like, did you guys do that on purpose?
Right.
Every single day do we get that conversation. And we could not have done it. Yeah. We never even discussed. It was never discussed.
Yes, no. Tell them the truth.
So here's the breakdown, right? So Sonny and I were first in terms of finding out we were pregnant. We didn't tell anybody. It's funny that different personalities in our significant others, right?
Sure. Definitely.
Mine was a lot more private. We weren't telling everybody. We were kind of waiting for the first, I think it's customary to wait after the first trimester, then announce to the world that we were pregnant. Unlike your Doña.
No.
Right? Unlike Brandini.
Yeah. There was like 4 women that knew before I did. And they were running out of the bathroom with the stick in their hand. Like, oh my God. Game 1, Dodger World Series game.
Yes, that's
Freddie
right.
Freeman, walk-off.
That's what you found out, right?
We all found out.
My baby was been best. Good luck since the first day
I thought he was kidding, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought he was kidding too, because we're like, oh my God, we're actually pregnant. There's no way that they're pregnant also.
Yeah.
But I don't think we knew you were having a baby at that time.
I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought when he said that, I'm like, no way. And then all of a sudden you come out, 2 weeks later?
And then I pulled him aside. I think it was our Friendsgiving. I said, bro, we're having babies together. He's like, no way.
Yeah, and then you were like, please tell me I'm having a girl. And I was like, and Brenda wanted a boy. So we were cheering for a boy at the time. And we got
Yeah.
They switched at birth.
No one will know.
No one will
So now the
will
ongoing
ever
joke
know.
is that we're gonna switch babies at birth.
No,
but,
I'm gonna keep my girl.
I won't say nothing, okay?
Yeah.
I'm extremely excited. If I'm being honest, I have been nervous and anxious about it because I just know how hard it is to have kids now. Like with the first two, I was young. It was I was in my mid-20s, mid to late 20s, and like there's no manual, so you had no idea what to expect, right?
There's still none, right?
No, yeah, for sure. But now I have a playbook somewhat, right?
Okay, sure.
But I also know how much, Sonia and I pour into our children. And it's like, man, we got to do it all over again. But glass half full. Man, we get to do that all over again, right?
You're absolutely right, and
So.
that's kind of my
You guys sound
philosophy
really
in it.
excited right now.
No,
I'm buying more and more.
I don't even have a car seat yet.
That's right. They're going to be drinking a lot more.
No car seat. I'm just gonna call Sonia or Henry. Hey, can you pick us up for the hospital?
He
Get
was
us
already
home?
asking to borrow the car seat.
Yeah, or the car, whatever.
Are you guys getting the Siennas, the vans? Are we getting
Just one for both families.
the H-Rod vehicles turning to a Sienna?
Oh man!
All right, man. But
I'm excited. On the real, I am excited for you guys.
Thanks,
it's
brother.
going to be
Yeah.
a great new chapter, and it's going to be awesome.
I'm excited because I know that Sonia was worried. I know Brendan was worried also, but I'm excited that we're doing this together.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, another
Yes,
thing that we're
sir.
doing together. If
Yes,
we're
sir.
close enough.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. But enough about us and the Dodgers and Ryan getting stuck on stupid. I'm excited about our guest for the episode. So let's without further ado, let's bring on Mr. Sergey Sushchik. I practiced that.
You got it.
several times. Did I know that one?
Yeah, Sergey Sushchik. You
He's been
got it.
practicing for half an hour before that.
And then
that's
Sergey,
awesome.
you are Saugus High's cross country coach.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's right. Yeah.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started coaching in 2019, just as a volunteer. I had the former coach just bring me out to practice. He knew I ran in college. He knew I ran in high school. He coached my wife. My wife went to Saugus. We met in college. And so basically he was like, hey, come out. The kids are great. Just do a couple of runs with them. And then so I started coming out like once or twice a week. And then he was like, oh, man, like you really got to get out there. You got to coach these kids. And the program was really big at the time, right? Yeah. And they're like, hey, we can use, all the help we can get. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it. But obviously I'm working full time, There's a lot going on. I was still getting my master's at the time, so I was like, I don't know about this.
My man. Game recognizes game. I love that. Yeah.
So
Where'd you get your master's?
I got my master's at CSUN in electrical engineering.
That's my alma mater. I got my undergrad there.
Oh, there you go. Awesome.
What did we
Yeah.
get? Did we get?
Diplomas.
They don't know what undergrads are, let alone a master.
We're the fun guys. We're the fun guys.
We're here for our personalities, not our brain.
Yeah, so basically I started coming out, and then he was like, hey, just coach the varsity, top 10, 12 guys. It'll be a lean team. You guys can meet whenever you need to because of work and everything. And
Lean as in smaller team, or lean like you, like lean?
just smaller, right? Okay. Just, hey, you can give a big part of coaching, right, is how much time can you give to each individual athlete, right? How much coaching can you give them? Like how much one-on-one time? All that is. And so with your athletes, right, you can just have a little bit more, concentration, right? You can spend just more time with each one of them, right? So we started off. It was a dozen of the best athletes. We wouldn't meet with the team because we had to meet in the evenings, right, after work, and it went okay. Then COVID hit, and then on the back end of COVID, I was like, you know what? I gotta get more involved, right? And so I took over the entire boys team the last couple of years, and it's been great, right? Obviously, it's a ton of work, but it's I think it's really important. I really enjoy it, passionate about it, and of course, right, it ties in well with like my own personal running career, right?
Yeah.
So so basically, for me, I started like a lot of other kids, like started running in high school, hated it at first, couple of years. I was like, oh man, like this, like it's okay, right? And the training was the worst part. Racing's fun. You get in there. Turns out I was like pretty good. So I was like, oh man, like I don't need to work hard. Like what's the point? Just show up on the day, you know, lace up the shoes and you just get after it, right? And then like after a couple of years, I was like, man, like I'm not getting any better. So I was like, you know what? Let's try to commit a little bit. You know, let's work for it. And then I saw that huge improvement, right? Where I went from being like pretty good, like middle varsity kind of thing to being like, all right, I'm the best on the team now. You know, I'm the best on the team. What's next, right? Okay, can I be the best in our league, our division, whatever? And then like I got to in high school, I like competed at the state meet. I got to one of the national meets. I was like, man, this is going great. And then of course I got picked up, ran at UCLA.
Did you run for UCLA?
I did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
5 years, so got recruited out of high school.
And why UCLA? Why not USC?
Well, first of
Either
all,
or.
so I'm not a USC hater.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I'm not a USC hater.
Okay.
So one of the biggest competitions, right, at UCLA is, and for all the sports, right, is when you go head to head against USC,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So for track, it's the UCLA USC dual meet. Shout out to the Bruins. They won for the first time this past year, a couple of weeks ago, since like when I was in college, right?
okay.
And I'm 32, so it's been like 10 years, right? And finally pulled it off. So shout out.
That's got to be pretty hype, though. UCLA versus USC.
Oh man,
That's got to be hype.
People that go and watch, they're like, this is what the sport's about, right?
Yeah.
And like track's not a great spectator sport, right? Like most of the time, right? Even like these like high profile events, like the 100, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody goes crazy for the 100. I mean, you go out there, drive out 2 hours, it's a 10-second race. Right? You know?
It's like watching the Olympics. Like you spend all day for 10-second race.
Training your whole life for those 10 seconds.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and like distance is a little different, right? Obviously, I'm a distance runner, like the mile, 2 mile, whatever. They're obviously a little bit longer. Obviously, marathon, but like marathon, like the only way you can watch is like if you're in the front and you're on TV, right?
Right.
Like my wife would
Or if
be
you
like,
have a GoPro or something like that.
she'll like be on the sidelines or something, and she goes, "Oh, there he goes, and there he goes," and I'll see him at the finish line. You know?
Well, that's awesome. So let me dive into some of these questions, if I may. So
Sure.
it sounds like you had a standout career both as an athlete and now as a coach. How has your time at UCLA helped shape your philosophy in terms of coaching young runners today?
Yeah, absolutely. Then there's like, there's a lot, right? It's complicated when I honestly, right, like loved college. It was great. I had a mixed experience with running in college. It's really difficult. The stakes are high, right? The pressure is high. You always got to be on top of your game. And when things aren't going well, right, it's really easy to be just super down on yourself, right?
It takes the joy out of it a
Oh,
little bit, right?
100%, right? Like you're out there and like in training in college, it's just way different than like high school training or like even the training I'm doing now for the marathon, right? It's they put a lot of resource into you, and they like the expectations that like you show up, right?
Win or go home, pretty much.
Exactly, right? And so like you go out there, you got early morning practices, right? Sunday mornings, like good luck going out Saturday nights. Like it's just not going to happen, right? Like first thing Sunday morning, you got 2-hour long run, like in the mountains. Good luck, So you just got to come in. You got to make it a priority, right? And so there was like a 2-year period where I just like didn't get any better, right? And like you're doing everything that's like asked of you, right? You're like training as hard as you can. You're just not getting any better, right? So like persistence, right, is really important. Mindset is huge, right? Yeah. Mindset, and just like a lot of things in life, like right, like running, it's not linear, right? It's not like, oh, let me just train a little bit harder and I'm going to get a little bit better, right? Sometimes like, you got to put in a year's worth of work to see the breakthrough, right? And you got to buy in, and you've got to be willing to work for it, and just like know that like the results will come at some point without like really knowing when.
I love how you said about commit and then be consistent.
Yeah.
Because there'll be times in everyone's life, no matter what you're doing, right, that there's progress that's being made, but you don't really see it. But there's still progress being made every single day, right?
Yeah.
And so oftentimes in our society, we're looking for like that instant gratification. And it sounds like that's not the case in running, right? You're talking about like you're being consistent, you're out there training, early Sunday mornings, and you're not seeing that much progress, but there is progress.
Yeah.
So talk about that. Talk about that mentality. Talk about that state.
Yeah, well, it's just the timeline for training, especially for distance runners. I mean, and just skip ahead a little bit to the marathon, right? Like my marathon build's like 18, 20 weeks, right? So
leading up to it.
Yeah,
wow.
Exactly. So and the thing about like a lot of these like big time marathons too is you guys sign up 6 months in advance. So basically 6 months in advance, you're saying, I'm committing to this, right? Like I'm going to do it, right? And then, maybe like 4 months before is when you really, really start going for it, right? Yeah. And you're like, okay, I'm going to train for the next 4 months for for 2 hours, right?
Right.
And I hope nothing goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
You're going back to those sprinters for 10 seconds, right? It's just, you got to make sure everything goes right. And like, you're not going to see that reward until race day, right? You see the progression, you're running
there's
more.
no scrimmages, there's nothing leading up to that, right?
Yeah, like you can't do like a marathon halfway through and be like, let me see my progress, right? Like let me see where I'm at. No, you just gotta believe, right? Yeah. You gotta believe, and a lot of it too is it's not about the day-to-day motivation, right? Because like there's a lot of days you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be like, I really don't want to do this, right?
Right.
Especially like Sunday morning, right? You're like, man, like I got to beat the heat, right? Especially Santa Clarita, right? You're like, especially like in the summer, you're like
now.
Exactly. All right. Like if you don't get out the door by like 6 a.m., it's not gonna happen, right? You know what I mean? So it's getting up. Okay, am I willing to prioritize this? And a big part of it is like not the day-to-day motivation. It's like what system do you have in place that's going to guarantee that you're going to do it right? You know?
Wow.
And so just having that in place, like, okay, hey, I'm getting up no matter what. I already packed all my stuff the night before. I'm ready to go. I'm going to do it, right? So you don't give yourself an out on the day.
No matter what.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask just the training regimen for a marathon. Is it running harder? Is it running sprints? Is it like working out? Is it diet? Like what is it?
It's so.
He's like, yes.
If you want to do it,
no, but like in football, I think about football, right? You go to the gym, or they run sprints, or they can kind of compete against each other to see how much better they're getting. But like you had a good point with the marathon, you don't have that to see how far you've come or how much you've improved. Yeah.
So the marathon's kind of it's unique, right? It's a pure endurance event, right? So. What that means is it's all about energy management, right? You're not running all out, right? Like the race is too long, right? So it's about, can I run at like dial in to the perfect effort that I know I can maintain, right? And then you do that for like 20 miles, 21, 22 miles, and then the last 4, you're like all out, right?
Right.
That's where the real racing. It's almost like a 20-mile long run, and then you run all out.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny though? We have 2 marathon runners amongst us, right? So
you're looking at me like
no, definitely not you right. Definitely not you right. But Sergey, I mean, just the fact that you've done the marathon, right? The fact that you're competing at a high level, and you just recently did it, right? In this March, right?
Yeah,
this past March,
LA, yeah.
I would love for you guys to compare notes because, and I say this with no disrespect, brother, but like you're like the average person, right? 100%. Running the marathon, and you're like an elite athlete running a marathon. Yeah. I would love to compare the differences in terms of like 2 different people, running the same marathon, but for different purposes, different goals, like different preparation, maybe like. Let's discuss that. Right?
I like that.
I try not to drink. My training started January 1st in 2015, and I was in a very different place in my life. I had just got out of my marriage, and all I was focusing on was training for the marathon and taking care of my son. That was it. Mm-hmm. And there was I was single, so there was a little bit of partying mixed in, but I tried to stay committed and regimented, and I went on a lot of. I just did a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and I just kind of built up to it. I had it all planned out to get there, and I just kept on getting a little bit. It got a little bit and a little bit easier, and then running 2 or 3 miles is where I felt like I could almost sprint it at one point. Okay. I could probably get from my house to Central Park to play in my softball game in 20 minutes, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Right? I just stopped taking my car places. I just started you see me running as fast as a lot of money on that. But and I finished at 5 hours. So 5 hours and 2 minutes, and it was the hottest marathon in LA history, I believe it was at the time, at least. Yeah. But do you guys know what time he ran?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm trying to do
so I can't even fathom that.
No. Yeah. So when he's saying that it's all about conserving your energy and making it at the most, you're expanding your energy the best as possible. That's wild to think that that's a 5-minute mile.
Yeah, 5:25, right? And so
that's crazy. That's crazy.
So I'm still trying to wrap my mind.
I'm trying to do 1 mile.
Right? No, I can't even do 1 mile. That. Yeah.
So you weren't sprinting the last 5 miles.
Bro, I couldn't even walk, man.
He's running the entire
He's accelerating.
He's just
I ran the first 16 miles.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was walk a mile, run a mile. For me, when they call it the wall or the brick wall, it was getting restarted again after I was walking. That was very rough. The sidewalks look like mountains, just stepping up and stepping down. It was one of the toughest things that I've done in my entire life.
I wanted to ask him, mentally, as a professional, obviously he's running for a different purpose. Do you hit the wall at some point?
So I have before, and obviously it doesn't feel good, right? Actually, the very first time I ran LA, bonked super hard, right? 20 miles in, at mile 18, I was like, oh, dude, I got this, right? Marathon, no big deal, right? Literally 2 miles later, it just completely ran out of gas, right? Yeah. Hit the wall. Just the last 6 miles, so miserable. I finished it, and I was like, dude, never again, right?
3 hours.
It was terrible. So I was like, forget this, right? This is not for me, right? And then just reflecting on it, I was like, no, you ran it wrong, right? I just got super hyped up. After halfway, I was like, oh man, I'm still feeling good. I'm gonna go now, whatever. I'm just gonna go now, and I had a good next couple miles. I was like, I got this, and then obviously not, right? So I was like, you got to learn how to run it right? Just whatever, right? Whatever pace, whatever strategy you got, you just got to plan it right. If you hit the wall, it just means you probably went too hard early on, right? And so it's it's just like anything, right? There's the fitness part of it, but it's the skill of actually racing. You got to learn that too, right? So it's everything.
What, you have music on during the race?
No
music.
No.
Oh,
no.
Really?
That's extra weight for him.
That's extra weight. So nothing.
Well, actually in LA when we were, I think when I was looking over the rules for the elite heat, they were like, you can't have headphones.
Really?
Right? They're like, no,
so
nothing.
It's just all self-talk.
Well, so a lot honestly, my mind's really active during the race because I'm constantly looking at my watch, right? So I average 5:25, right, for the race, and I'm constantly being okay, if I run too many miles early on at 5:15, 5:20, I might not make it, right?
So I might tell yourself to slow down.
So it's just constantly checking in, right? And it's you're threading the needle, right? Too slow, right? You're not going to get the time you want.
It's a science.
Too
it's
fast.
A science.
Yeah, so your mind's working the whole time, right? Your mind's working the whole time. You're just and you got to be thinking save a little, because those last few miles are critical, right? And especially, right, like if you have anything, like it's gonna hurt no matter what, right? It's gonna hurt no matter what. So like you might as well just like make sure that you could be passing people, right? Because that like feels really good. Because at the end of the day, right, a lot of people like run the marathon, like they're competing against themselves in the distance, right? But a big part of it for me is like I also want to. I want to beat people. I want to beat people. Yeah. So I want to be.
Well, you beat a lot of people.
We need to give a shout out for that. Say that again.
Came in 8th place.
8th place out of how many people?
Oh, there's a lot. There's
thousands.
There's
it was sold out.
Probably
It was sold out.
Thousands of runners, right?
Yeah. 25,000, 30,000.
25,000.
I think.
He beat up on everybody.
Go Centurion.
That's impressive.
That is
impressive.
amazing. Is this one of your best finishes? And how many marathons have you ran?
So I've run 5 now.
Okay.
Right. So it was probably one of the ones I'm most proud of. It wasn't my fastest time. I ran my fastest time in December in Sacramento. It's the California International Marathon, and that one. That was a little bit like a cheat code because they try to make it as fast as possible. So very little hills, like net downhill. Like the last 6 miles, you're running into downtown Sacramento, and it's just like pancake flat.
Okay.
LA was none of that, right? Like
I wouldn't say cheat code at marathon.
No, I don't think that exists.
I don't think I can convince Ryan to hey, dude, I got a cheat code for a marathon. You want to go run? We got this, bro.
I'm trying to get to the podcast on time. I can't even get here on time.
I'm actually kind of just tired talking about a marathon.
Oh man.
What about eating or drinking during the marathon? Like, is it like
you gotta
I
do
see
it.
they give you guys stuff as you're
you
running
gotta do
by.
it. So it depends on the marathon, right? So the one in Sacramento, like they went all out. We got bottle service.
Wait,
right?
hold on.
That's what they call it. We got bottle service. It was cool. That was cool. So what they
During
do
the race?
Yeah. So they set up for like the first group, and it was probably like the top 40 runners or whatever. They set up tables every like 5 or 6 miles, and the day before you turn in your own water bottles, and you can put whatever mixture you want in there, and they'll have it out on the course for you, right? And so that way, like, you get whatever you think you need, right? So, like, it's electrolytes, it's water. You tape, like, some of those goos, because you got to take, back to energy management, right? Like, throughout, like, the race, you're burning sugar, you're mostly burning sugar, so you got to replenish, right? So, every, like, 30 minutes, I'll eat something. I'll eat one of those goo packs, and yeah, they're basically just like simple sugars, and they help keep you going, right? Yeah. And then obviously like water with some electrolytes. So yeah, and managing that too, right? Like if you space out, like you might miss the water drop or whatever it is, right? So yeah, and another reason to like just be really present during the race.
What did you drink with vodka?
Just trying to survive. I think mile 20 or 21 they gave us beer. You didn't stop for the beer. I stopped for the beer. I'm stopping right here.
Different marathon.
Yes, different marathon.
Perspective is
perspectives,
awesome.
Yes, I would love to know. So, going into the marathon, did you guys all have like a ranking of where they figured you guys would finish? Like, were you ranked to finish in the top 10, or did they know, or did you just come on the scene and be like, bam, I'm here?
Well, so they know by, I think they give you a bib number. Like you get like a really low bib number, right? So like the bib's your race number, right?
I was going to ask you, those mean something.
999, what does that mean?
The numbers mean something.
Well, it's like for like most people, it's just like when you like at what point do you sign up? You sign up early, they give you a low number. You sign up late, you get a higher number, right? But in like the elite ones, it's typically by like what your entry time is, right? Because you got email the race coordinators early. You got to be like, hey, I deserve to be like in the elite heat. Like put me in. Like I want to be on the start line at the very front. And they're like, okay, fine. Like what have you run, right? Like what's your resume like?
Yeah, because the resume, they're interviewing you for this.
They just want to know like if you're legit, right? So you got to put times from like other races you've run, right? You got to put in like like where it was, what you ran, whatever, right?
Like Henry and I just couldn't show up.
No.
We just can't.
Maybe not for that. Maybe not for that.
But we know about you and showing up.
Food coma? They don't give kosher dogs at the race, right? No kosher dogs at the race.
So I think like my number, I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was like 20 or something going to the race. And so, right, you're on the starting line, you're like, oh man, like my bib number is, maybe 20. So like there's probably 19 people better than me, right? And so that's how you start playing the mind games of like, I better finish better than 20th, right?
Yeah.
I want to beat the other people because they, on paper, at least, are faster than me, right?
Yeah.
So let me see what I can do.
If I came in 8th in the LA Marathon, I would have my billboard would say 8th place, my license plate would say number 8, I have a jersey that said everyone would know. Kobe! Exactly.
The Kobe of running. There you go.
Sergey, jokes aside, I know that you dedicate this marathon to a dear friend of yours. Can you please talk about that?
Absolutely, yeah. And yeah, so this out of the 5, right? Like this one was basically the most special for me, right? So basically, we had a teammate in college. I actually raced against him in high school. His name is Emilio De La Torre, right? And he was just an amazing human being. And he actually, once we started kind of running marathons right after COVID, he was like, "Hey, like I'm going to do it too, right?" But like for us, right, it was me and a couple other guys, right, like coming out of the pandemic, we're like, let's do something, right? Let's just like try to run a marathon or whatever, right? And so we were doing it just basically like for bragging rights between like our college friend group, right? And he was like, hey, like I'm training for a purpose, right? So he was a teacher for at Alamonsar Academy. It's in Pasadena. It's like for kids that like have like behavioral issues, right? That like basically like can't like function normally in like a normal classroom, right? And so so it was like a really difficult job, but like to him it was really, really important to help these kids. So he was like, hey, we're underfunded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run marathons. I'm going to train really, really hard. I'm going to make it to the Olympic trials, and I'm going to raise money for my school along the way, right? I'm just going to raise awareness,
Getting
right?
chills a little bit right now.
And so, and just like the training he would do was just incredible. I mean, just like I thought I was working hard, right? Like it's so much different when you have a purpose and you're doing it for other people, right? And so just like the stuff he was doing, and he was like just getting better so much faster, right? He reached his goal, right? In 2024, he ran under the Olympic trial standard. So how it works in the marathon in the U.S., right, is if you want to go to the Olympics, right? You gotta place basically like in the top 3 at the Olympic trials, right? And so they set a time standard, and anyone that can hit the time standard can go race the Olympic trials race, and then you're in the top 3 or so, you can make it to the Olympics,
that
right?
Makes sense.
So he was like, he's like, I don't know if I could do that, but I can at least make it to the trials, right? And they typically, it's like basically like the top 80, top 100 best marathoners like in the country, right? And he did that, right?
Wow.
In 2024, right? He ran under the standard, under 218, made it to the Olympic trials, and that was I was in that race with him, and he ran under 218. I think I barely broke 220 that race. And like one of my favorite photos is if you're an Olympic trials qualifier, like they give you this flag, right? They could wrap around yourself and it's an Olympic trials qualifier. And we got this great photo of like us hugging at the finish line and him wearing the flag, right? So he did it, right?
That's awesome.
And so like he was fundraising money, and he ran Olympic trials. Everything was going great. And out of Olympic trials, he was like, I got to work harder, right? Like I gotta increase my reach, right? I got to like basically just increase the amount of support I'm getting from my cause because it's working, right? And then like disaster struck, right? So about a year ago, he passed away. He was working through a lot of mental health issues, right? And he passed away due to suicide, right? And so it was obviously really, really hard for our entire friend group, but we're like, you know what? He had a mission, he had a cause, so we got to do it now, right? So a lot of us got together and we're like, hey, for this marathon, right? It's LA, it's his hometown, right? We're going to go out, we're going to hit his fundraising goal, and we're going to do it for him.
Incredible.
Right? So it was really special. A lot of our former teammates from college, right? They're living all over the place now, and they all, flew in from wherever, Texas, Colorado, or like just everywhere, all came together. We had about like 8 or 9 of us actually run the race, and then we had maybe another dozen out there cheering, right? So that was just really special, right? And it just makes it so much more meaningful, like not only doing it for a cause, but like you're doing it for other people, right?
Sergey, thank you so much for sharing with that. That gave me the chills. Man. But you know what? It goes to show that if you're doing things with a purpose, like how much more you can accomplish.
Absolutely.
Sure. The Buffalo over here is always talking about his purpose.
Yeah, man. That was well said too.
Yeah, extremely well said.
Question, lighting it up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there any kid on the team right now that could keep up with Coach?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great question.
Yeah. Well, so I like the after season banquets and all that. I like to highlight, right? Like, of course, like all the accomplishments, all the awards, and I always like to chime in like, hey, so and so actually ran faster than me when I was in high school, right? Or so and so is like the longer stuff, like good luck, not yet, right? But like the shorter stuff, especially in track, the 800, the 1600, like the 800. Yeah, some of those guys could beat up on me.
That's
right?
a race.
1600, maybe like they're close, right? But then as it goes up in distance, not yet, right? I still got it. So it's just like part of the self-fulfillment is like I got a lot out of the sport, right? Not only just like helping me get into college, right? Helping me just like learn how to like be competitive, right? How to like structure my life, how to work really hard for something, right? And just all the things like the sport gave me to be able to show that and be able to help somebody else in that same journey is really important to me, right? So of course, like it's like part of my philosophy is that like everybody should be getting better, right? We can help everybody kind of reach their potential, but it's really special when you get kids that have some talent but work really, really hard, and they're able to be competitive on those really high levels at the high school level. Go to the California State meet, right? Win a bunch of races, right? Like get school records. That's really important.
Yeah. Love that, Sergey.
That's cool.
Saugus is lucky to have him.
They certainly are for sure.
I'm about to go running right now.
It's the lies, Ryan. It's the lies.
What about the speed walking? I wanted to bring up the speed walking. We'll talk about that later.
Last question to wrap this segment up. What's next for you, both professionally and as a competitor?
Yeah, well, so after the marathon, right, I was like, I'm not done. So I hopped in a couple of track races, which you can still do, right? I'm like 10 years out of college, and I was like, you know what? Like a lot of these collegiate track races, if you're fast enough, they actually let like people out of college race against.
Oh, really?
Them as well. Yeah. Okay. So I was like, you know what? Like there's a race coming up at Azusa Pacific University. I'm like looking at like what races I can do. I'm like, let me hop in a 5K. Let me hop in like the equivalent in college.
Casually, let me hop in.
It's only 21 minutes.
I'm dying after 5K. I trained for 3 months.
I can't even survive the Dodger game. I can't survive the Dodger game.
That's right. It's like it's Thursday. I'm going to hop on a 5K tomorrow.
And I said 21 minutes like it's not like 14.
I know, right?
And I was like, you know what? I'm like, you know what? I spent a lot of time like away from my wife, the early mornings and everything. I was like, you know what? Like I'm gonna race like this week, and then I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna take some time off. Like, hang out with my wife, whatever it is. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do the 5K one day, and then I'm going to hop in like the equivalent of the mile the next day, right? In college, they run the 1500, not the 16. It's a little bit shorter, but basically the same thing, right? So I'm like looking at the start list. I sign up, and I'm like, oh, dude, there's a bunch of guys from UCLA in this race, right?
Wow.
Like current athletes. I'm like, it'd be fun to beat up on some of those.
Yeah.
Some of those guys. So I go in there. 5K, I win the 5K, and I was like,
Nice.
"Oh, that's great!"
Hey, I'm gonna wake up and win a 5K.
You better hold my name ain't on the list.
Run like 14:26 or something, like pretty good.
Wow.
And then the next day, come back, finish second in the 1500, and I was like, "Oh man, like this is great." Still got wheels, right? Because when you get older, right, like. Your like top end speed's the first to go, right? That's why I still got some time in the marathon, you know, these shorter events, maybe not. But so it was nice to get out there and be like, oh, I still got it for a little bit.
Coach still got it.
Yeah.
Coach still got it.
But but I mean, long term, right? Definitely another marathon. I'm not sure which one. Probably in the fall, right? Like you got to start planning for it, like quite a bit in advance. And honestly, like just getting a little bit of time off is going to feel good. Just like I can focus on the team, right? We just finished track season, so now we got to start thinking about cross country season and like these like off season periods, right? Like summer is like so important, right? That's where like all the work that's going to pay off in the fall, you got to do it over the summer, right?
That's the training right there.
Exactly. And so just focus on the team, focus on family. Focus on work, right?
Yep.
And just take a little break, and I'm sure I'll be at it.
Love that. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you for everything you're doing for Saugus High. For youth sports. I'm big in youth sports. We both have children that one goes to Saugus.
Yes, sir.
My children should go to Saugus, so I support the community, the high school. And thank you for all that you do.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Ryan, want to sign us off?
Wow, that was amazing.
That was good.
I don't even know what episode it is.
You're the Dodger guys, man. Go figure.
The Elite Podcast. I don't know what episode it is, but I think we're officially...
We're out.
We're out.